Here, it's a double barrel show.
How you doing?
How are you? Hi.
Wow. Good shot.
Which way do you? Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Debbie? It's been a long time.
Really? Hallstrom? I don't know where that was.
50s. You didn't get my roses or
Oh, I
candy?
didn't? Oh my goodness, where were we? In the 50s in Korea?
Yes. I came down with Lee Warren
Oh my goodness.
on weekends. We were at base boot camp at Santa Maria, and
I was entertaining.
and we came down there with Lee Warren, and we came over to your place almost every weekend. And
That's
you would fix us lunch.
well,
Then
good
when
for
you-
me.
Then when you were at the Orpheum, we came back and spent a few minutes in your dressing room.
In 1950.
But could you
Did someone take our picture?
Sure.
All righty, dear. Thank you. Well, good. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you. He knew her, or he was with her brother. Thank you. The roses are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
In 1950, I went into the Army, and we were in boot camp at Santa Maria, California. My best buddy was Lee Warren, who lived in Burbank. And when we had weekend passes, I would go with them, with Lee, to Burbank. And we always went over to Debbie, to Reynolds' house, for an hour or two, and Debbie would always fix us lunch. And then when we were in Korea, she sent us several letters and pictures, which we really cherished. Then, a few years ago, she performed at the Orpheum Theater here in Omaha. When it was over, I went up to the stage and asked the manager, told him about our story with her. He went back and Debbie said, tell them to come back to our dressing room. So the four of us spent another half hour back in her dressing room with Debbie and her parents. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to see somebody like that. And we just cherish those memories. And we thank you very much.
Great story. Thanks for telling us.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Debbie Reynolds.
Extra to get down close? Hello up there. Hi. I'm delighted to be here. Happy to be a part of this wonderful occasion. I'm happy to be alive. It's always nice to fool them and stay alive. So when they wanted to invite someone that was still alive from Singing in the Rain, I was the only one left. So I'm sad to say, there's very few of us left, you know. I mean, it isn't a question of age, you know. It's just a question of time. Time goes by, and finally the good Lord says, well, He wants the whole cast of Singing in the Rain. So, since I was the youngest player in the film, I'm not ready yet, or He's not ready to get me yet, take me yet. It was a great film, and you're going to see. How many of you have seen it? Have you? Well, it was a terrific film. I was very lucky because, you see, I was only 17 years old when I made that picture. 17, and I'm 78 now. Woo! Can you believe I made it? And I'm Princess Leia's mother. For the younger people that have no idea who Debbie Reynolds is, but since you saw the movie, you know. So Carrie Fisher, I was just 17. Hello, folks. Nice to see you. Hi, I'm Debbie. You probably thought I was Connie Stevens, but I'm not. She wasn't in this film. Everybody was in this film, though. Gene Kelly was great. Well, he was the genius. He was the genius to put it together. Stanley Donen was his, coordinator, or he was called assistant. He was also called director. But really, Gene, well, I don't want to put anything Stanley down at all, because he was wonderful. But Gene directed all of us, Donald and myself. Personal direction, as far as personal speaking on the set and everything. Because I was very young and didn't know much about anything. Coming straight from school, I entered a local beauty contest in Burbank, California. That's how I got in the movies. And it was like an accident. And I just answered, I knew I wouldn't win because I'm really short. And we didn't have any money. So I bought this bathing suit at the Salvation Army for $2. And it had a hole in the rear end. So that's how I won. Because there was a talent scout there, they took me to Warner Brothers first and then MGM, and lo and behold, I made one picture and I sang Abba Dabba 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 Dabba, a little silly song, Abba Dabba 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 Dabba, the chicken to the monk. It's this ridiculous song. But it sold 1 million copies, I don't know. A song about monkeys, I never understood. But all of a sudden they said, Mr. Mayer, he was the head, L.B. Mayer. I don't know if you ever heard that word, but he was the head of studio, MGM studio, the one with the lion. And he headed the whole thing. And he called me into the office, because I was under contract then. And they had put me under contract. And he said, now, Debbie, you're going to be in this movie with Gene Kelly. Well, I just stared at him. I thought he was crazy. But I didn't really realize that this was the most powerful man in the industry. I just thought he was kind of cute. And he was very short. And they had him up on a pedestal behind a big desk so you look scared. You sat down. And it was very amusing to me. But I didn't know anything about show business, so it didn't scare me. I just thought he looked like a grandpa type of a guy. He said, now you're going to be in this movie with Gene Kelly. Now I loved the musicals, and I used to go to the movies every weekend for a dime. I know you didn't because you're too young. A quarter maybe. Nobody's that old. And the musicals were my favorite. Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, and all them. Eleanor Powell, Ann Miller, all those. But Gene Kelly was really dynamite. But I never thought I would be in the movie because he didn't ask me. He just told me because that's what they did in those days. You did what you were told, and luckily for me. So in comes Gene Kelly, and Mr. Mayer says, Gene, this is Debbie, and she's going to be your new leading lady in Singing in the Rain. I don't really think. Now this is my side of the story. Gene has another story because I read an article where he said, what Debbie says is not the truth. I really knew she was going to be in it, even though I didn't want her. That's my story, because I didn't think he would want me because I had never danced before. Why in the world would he want me? Why would he take me? So I think my story's right. Mr. Mayer just said, she's in. So he said to Gene, now Debbie's going to... So Gene says, well, okay. Hi, Debbie. I said, hi. This is Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire. I mean, my goodness, here I am talking to him. So I said, well, he said, can you dance? I said, well, no. He said, well, can you do the time step? Anybody can do the time step. So I said, well, yes, I was a Girl Scout, and I learned how to do the time step. And so he said, do the time step. So I did the time step badly, and he thought, well, I'm sure terrible. But then he said, can you do the maxi forward? Now, that is a step, but I didn't know what it was, so I said, we don't have a car. I thought it was a car, but it's a step. It goes. See, it's a step. I've never forgotten the Maxi Ford. And I never had a car that was called Maxi Ford. But anyway, Gene was stuck with me, and I had to work like a dog. And for 6 months, I had to take private lessons by myself with just 4 teachers, all day long, 8 hours a day, 8 hours a day, just to learn how. Now, to take a kid that's never danced before and teach her, and to think that kid really could learn it. See, my parents were very, not strict, but we were raised Nazarene, which is a religion. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's kind of like the hard shell Baptist. Have you ever heard of that? But it's, you don't start something, you don't start a job you can't finish. You never give up. You never quit on a job. Just do it. Just shut up and do it. So that was my teachings from my mom and daddy. So I didn't know I could quit. It's a good thing too, isn't it? Because I was lucky to be in this great movie, and I worked so hard that I think I really did a good job. Because I only had 6 months to learn how to keep up with Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor, who was sensational. Make them laugh, make them laugh. Was he great in that? Now he did that number. That's one of my favorite numbers. Don't you know all the world wants to laugh? My dad said, be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in line for those old honky-tonk monkeys shine. And then he did a back flip and a front flip, and he ran up the wall and flipped backwards. Isn't that amazing? When we were older, later on we were on tour, I said, Donald, how did you get through that? He said, I was drunk. He said, I took a shot of whiskey. Before the shots, I really didn't care if I flipped out or flipped over or flipped under. So he was really a sweet guy. We did a tour for 2 years together, and we had a lot of fun. And Gene Kelly was very good. So when we were doing this one dance number, I know that you liked Good Morning, Good Morning. Is that your favorite number? Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you. Now that number, well, I'm not saying a story. When we were shooting, we shot another number where the big lights were shining down. It was nobody but Gene and I, and there was a big tall ladder, and I was on top of the ladder, and Gene was doing this song, all by himself, and I was at the top of the ladder. I wasn't supposed to dance. I was just supposed to look down at him adoringly, which, you never look at your teachers adoringly. And I thought he was kind of old, because he was 37. And I was only 17, so, he scared me, frankly. Because what you don't know, you're kind of frightened of, So anyway, we were doing this dance number, and these lights were flooding down, and just this single tall ladder, 20-some feet in the air, and Gene was dancing to a song, You Were Meant for Me, that song. And you don't know this, but in the mornings, we'd come in at, very early, like 5:30 in the morning. At 6 o'clock, we had to be in makeup, because we'd all look like really ratty when we came in, and everybody was under contract. Lana Turner, Ava Gardner was there, Grace Kelly was there, all these great, even Greta Garbo was there. I want to be alone. We all left her alone. That's the way she talked long. Like a foghorn. So, you know, we'd go in there, put makeup on, fix us all up. And I didn't know this, men too, you know, all the Fred Astaire, everybody, you know, in those days, Tyrone Power, all these big stars, Gary Cooper, Cary Grant was there, yeah, Cary Grant. See, the boys even. Oh, yeah. Well, and Grace. So it was just a rumor. But anyway. Gary Cooper was there, and Jimmy Cagney was there, Humphrey Bogart was there. All the great stars were there, Spencer Tracy. So anyway, this was in the early morning, you know. So, and I'm on the top of the ladder. I had on a blue dress, chiffon. And so Gina's down below dancing. And he's singing this song, and I'm up there. And I used to just chew gum. I was 17, you know. It's before I discovered wine. So Gina's singing this song, and I'm on the ladder up there, and he's singing, so the director suddenly says, all right, roll them. And I thought we were rehearsing, but he says, roll them. So I'm chewing away, and I take the gum, and I reach down, and I stick it on the rung of the ladder. Now, I didn't know this, but Gene Kelly had a secret. In makeup in the morning, they'd always do his makeup, but he'd fix his hair. You know what I mean? Like everybody, well, I mean, he had a little, you know, a ball, right here, he had a little round thing, so they plopped that on there. So he was dancing away, singing, you were meant for me, I was meant for you, nature patterned you, and when she was, and he leaned against the rung of the ladder, and then he danced away, and his hair stayed on the ladder. Tarantula. He didn't talk to me for a year. But he was really a great guy. And he was only 37, you know. But I was only 17. And it took a year to make that picture, or this picture, that you're going to see tonight. What fun it is. It's so wonderful for this picture to have survived each generation, isn't it? Well, that shows you how simple it is, you see. It's a simple story, and it's clean, and it's funny, and it's great dance numbers, and it's everything we really want, to be taken out of our own problems. We want to go to the theater to be entertained and see good dancing, clean stuff, and have a great time. Isn't that what we want in life? That's what you're going to see tonight, which is very exciting, and I'm thrilled that I'm still alive to be here, which is another great moment, because you never know when you're going to kick it. So, I'm delighted that I could have kicked all the way to Omaha, and to be here tonight, and that you all turned out for a very special evening that Bruce has put together, and everybody's worked really hard to put all this together. So it's not easy to get all these they seem really easy to put together. You just sit down in the seats and sell a ticket. But you know, it's not, it's complicated, it takes a lot of time. And I appreciate the fact that they invited me, and that I can say that I'm still alive, and that I said yes is good too. Because sometimes I say no because I like to stay home, because I hate to fly nowadays, because it's tacky, you know, with the way they have to put that thing. This lady said to me when she was doing that, she said, do you have on an underwire bra? I said, well, if I didn't, you'd be wanding me down here. I made it. I got here all intact. So I want to thank you for letting me be here and be a part of this, and I hope you have a great time, and make them laugh. All your life, make each other laugh, be friends, love everybody in the world. Pray for peace for everybody in the world, and for everyone to come together. Oh, and Bruce, speaking of Bruce, hello Bruce, I'm Debbie, how are you? Thanks for inviting me.